Now, you proposed Proposition S and Proposition U, but I have a proposition for you today. So let's get started with TCLN Network right here, and let's jump right in. Let's discuss what you've been discussing and what you've been debating in the city of Dallas.
Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top, yeah. You know I'm always honest. There ain't no way I'm ever stopping till I'm on top, yeah.
Dallas is great at what they do. They just have to make a choice that do you do it for some or do you do it for all? Now, let me give you an example. I used to work for the Community Council of Greater Dallas. I worked there from 2005 to 2008. And during that time, there was this program they had through the city of Dallas that was for the youth. And I'm giving you the prime example so that you can understand just how possible it really is to change these situations. Like I said, you think you need more officers. Sometimes you don't. You just need better ideas. If you take those same ideas and make them not just for some, but start applying them in your neighborhoods for all, you will begin to see some real change. Let me give you an example. Again, through the city of Dallas, they had this program where they were going out into the high schools and they were actually helping young people. So these were young people that didn't necessarily come from the greatest of backgrounds, right? But they were in school. Now, these young people, what they did is they set up some entrepreneurs around the city of Dallas. So most of them have their own business, very, very successful. A couple of them have been on the news, the local news there, and they've, one of them had a restaurant, and they were able to show, you know how they do. They have it on the morning news where you do the little cooking and the taste test. They get their brand out there and you just sharing some of the businesses, local businesses. Well, these were local businesses in Dallas, of course, and they were going to be the judges. And what they did is they had this summer program and it was set up and they would take these high schoolers, these kids who were in high school, and they were letting them know that you had potential to be an entrepreneur, right? So they picked I think it was about 5 groups. So I got to attend. I was working at the council and I got to attend. So I would go out every week and I would see what was going on, right? They asked me to be a mentor at the time. At the time, I said no. Listen, I want to stop for a minute to tell you. If someone asks you to do something and it is in your heart to do it, but you don't feel like you're ready, do it anyway. Someone sees something in you that you don't see in yourself right then, and just do it anyway. Do it. I'm telling you, do it. But anyway, I said no because I didn't think I was ready. I was in college myself and I was thinking, I don't have nothing to offer these young people. When I think back on it now, I had so much to offer those young people. So much. I was once young myself. I was once a teenage mother. I was once went through all that stuff, school, all of that. I've been through everything you can think of, and I had so much wisdom and so much knowledge to offer them. But I was looking at all these other people who were around, successful business people, all this stuff they had, and I just didn't think that I had what they had. So what could I give those kids, right? But I could have gave those kids something totally different that I didn't think that I was ready for. But nonetheless, I got to see this program, and this is what I want to share with you because I want to remind you, the city of Dallas, that sometimes it's not more officers that you need. Sometimes it's greater ideas that you need. And when you start putting those greater ideas into play, you will start changing lives. As you change lives, you change the streets. As you change the streets, you make them safer. As you do that, taxpayers' money go down because you're keeping officers and you're not constantly overturning money, constantly overturning training, constantly having to deal with all these things and all of these issues, right? So through the city of Dallas, they took these young people. It was about 5 groups, 5 different groups. Only one could be the winner in the end. But the idea was this, is that the winner would have their own business. So let me tell you how they had it set up. It was so fantastic. Listen, it was the first time I personally had seen something like that in my life. Like I said, I was once young. I never saw anything like that in my life. I wish I was exposed to something like that. But anyway, they took these young groups of people, right? And they trained them. They had these entrepreneurs to come in and they put about, I think it was like 5 or 6 or maybe 7 different people in each group. So you had an accountant. So they figured out their talents, right? So you had an accountant. You had one who would do like your public speaking for you, or like your presentations and stuff like that. And then you had your think tank, like your visionary. And then you had like people that would do proposals and stuff like that. And then you had like people that was in the grind, out there doing the work. So they would put these groups together, right? And they would give them these titles and stuff like that. And they made it very, very sincere. So it wasn't something like you just play acting and then we're going to let you go. No, they actually, the winner was going to open up their own business. Now, of course, these were high schoolers and they were going to be transitioning into college or whatever they're going to be doing. So they're becoming young adults, but they're going to be transitioning them and they're going to be working with them. And they would get to start a business of their choice. The winners, whatever their business was, they would get to start a business of their choice, and they would sponsor them and they would help them and help them get their footing, right? And this was so excited. So I went week after week after week and I saw this. I saw some of the nastiest kids. I mean, when I say nasty, I don't mean like they're nasty, nasty. I just mean they were unfocused. They didn't care. They lacked respect. And they was like, okay, you know. And the team that I was on through the community council, it was one of the ladies, like one of the business ladies. She was so strict. As a matter of fact, she had been on Channel Fox for news, all that kind of stuff, showing her restaurant and all that. And I thought to myself, dang, she mean, because she was rough, like, right? She didn't play. And she would come in and she'd say, listen, I don't have time for that. We're not going to be doing that. We're going to do A, B, C, D, F, G. This is how we're going to run this. This is what we're going to do. And if this is not what you coming for, then hey, you need to get to stepping, right? But they were still kind of hard-headed, still kind of off, but she was still kind of tough. But as I was looking at it, I was thinking to myself, wow, she just kind of rough with the kids, that's a little rough. And that's what I was thinking. But do you know, I saw these kids transform right before my eyes. I saw these kids get up on stage and giving a proposal that most of your adults cannot even give today. I am being honest with you. I saw this one of the team members get up there and break down accounting and break down numbers of how they were going to do the business, how what the yearly report would look like, what the information would. And I was thinking to myself, this is amazing. Like, I was just so excited, right? And one of the young ladies I saw in particular, she was just kind of young and kind of like unfocused and stuff like that. And I saw her over that time period just become something awesome. Do you understand that? And these kids went on, because it was 5 groups, but the group I was in and with the lady I was talking about, because they had like, I think so many judges. I forget how many judges it was, but they was over each group. And whichever the group that was going to win, that would be the judge, that would be the mentor, or the business person that would be the mentor of that group that won. And they would assist them in starting their own small little business. They would have a real business and they would go on from there and mentor them. And it was just a beautiful thing. Now, this was through the city of Dallas. I will never ever forget this, right? And this is the reason why I bring this up, because this is what I'm talking about. Sometimes you think you need more proposition, more laws, more this, more that. And sometimes what you need is to step outside of your box, step outside of all this stuff you're talking about, step out of all these debates about more pay, more this, what we can't afford, what this and what this. And sometimes you just need some creative ideas. Creative ideas. Now, I know that creative ideas cost money, but sometimes if you get a little bit more savvy and a little bit more creative and you get the right people on board, Dallas, you already know how you work it. Sometimes it's not even about money. It's just about people who care.